You know, one of the problems I have with technologies like smartphones is they keep putting more cameras on them. There seems to be a fixation on cameras. Two cameras was one thing. Oh, that's weird. It's got two cameras, three cameras, four cameras. I saw a guy with five or six cameras on the back of his phone. What are you doing with all these cameras? And I can understand if that's like a niche thing, niche. I don't know how to pronounce that. But is everybody a photographer now? Everyone's got the panorama, zoom, optical, dual lens. I mean, are there some people like me that just, you know, take a picture of a maybe if you see something interesting at a Walmart, you want to snap a quick pic of it. I don't know. Steve Weiner here from GetRubix.com, and today we're going to be taking a look at how we can install the new Teams app from Intune. We're going to package that out, and we're also going to take a look at if you still have the personal teams, the home teams that came pre-installed. We're going to set up a remediation to take care of that. I think the pictures look fine, 7, 8 generations of phone ago. One camera, I mean, it looked fine to me. I don't notice a difference. Maybe I can't take a picture.
Get Rubix, solving for the modern workplace.
Okay, so we're going to pick right back off from where we left last time, which was we deployed the new Microsoft 365 apps for enterprise with our own Win32. And in case you were wondering, because I messed up the detection rule, we got it, no problem here. So I put that back and we're good, in case anyone lost sleep over it. But our next mission is, let's take a look at this device. So this is one of my client devices. I'm not sure what happened to the wallpaper, but if you look at Teams, all I have here is the Teams personal. So I need to deploy the new Teams app, and I also have to get rid of what's there. So let's start by how do we package the new app, right? Okay, so there's two files we're gonna have to download. I put them on this notepad here so I wouldn't forget. Let's do the Teams executable first. Let's go ahead and grab that. I think they just, yep, TeamsBootstrapper.exe. And the other one we need is going to be the MSIX package. So let's make sure we grab these. Okay, they're in downloads, but I'm gonna put them both in a folder called New Teams, and you guessed it, we're gonna put that right on the desktop here so everyone could see it. So new folder for New Teams. Look at that. That's great. Okay, we're gonna use in this case 3 PowerShell scripts to deploy this. Well, 2 and then a detection rule. I find with the new Teams this has been pretty effective. So we're going to do install.ps1. We're going to make one called uninstall. Uninstall. Oh, let's just do it this way. .ps1. And finally, I'm going to make the detect.ps1. Detect.ps1. Okay, so why don't we open these up in code? That'll kind of make it easier here for us. Don't need this little console there. All right, so we're gonna need some variables. So we're gonna variables. Well, the MSIX file. We're gonna need the destination path, destination, and we're gonna need the exe path. Okay. So the MSIX path is going to be within the script. So that's just going to be ps script root. It's going to be within the package. Okay. So ps script root and the name of the MSIX. So we can grab that from New Teams. We'll just grab that whole thing, I think. There we go. Look at that. That's great. Next, we're going to need our destination path. I'm going to use C, program, data, Microsoft, and we're going to call this New Teams temp. And we'll go ahead and we'll make that if it's not there. Clean it up later. And the bootstrapper is going to be the exe file. So that's just going to be this guy, TeamsBootstrapper.exe. And same thing, because that's at the root of our script, it's going to get a PS script root path. PS script root path, there we go. So we have those variables taken care of first. Now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to put the MSIX into the directory. So let's do copy item path MSIX destination is destination force. Really simple. Actually, wait, I forgot to make the if test path destination. So if it's not there, we're gonna make dir destination. Okay, there we go. Covered our bases, right? Okay, so now what we're gonna do, because it's there, is we're gonna say start process file path exe path. Okay, and the argument list is gonna be p. Oh, what am I typing here? P O, and now we're going to point it to the destination MS Teams. Oh. Actually, we can point it to the MS Teams. This is where we copied it over. x64.msix. We'll do a wait. And just to make sure we don't see it, we'll do a hidden window style. Okay. So that takes care of the install. Exe path, yep. Alright, so that takes care of the install. Alright, next we're going to take care of the uninstall script. What did I just do? Oh. I mean, I technically don't need to do this with an uninstall, but because I'm doing everything else with a script, it kind of feels, I don't know, it makes sense to just keep it all together, I guess. So, really simple. This is just the PS script root. Teams Bootstrapper.exe, and it's an X. That's really it. So super simple, nothing to worry about there. And my detection rule, so let's do some detection. So let's start with the path that Teams would be installed in, and that is going to be C program files Windows apps. It actually becomes a modern app, and I'll show you all this before we proceed. So this is going to be, we are going to do the new teams. So new teams equals get child item path filter. Our filter is going to be MS Teams _ star, because it's that weird GUID after that. So we'll just leave it at that, and then we'll say if new teams. Oh, I forgot the variable there. It's not a named command. What the hell did I do? Okay. So if there's a new teams, do something else. We'll exit with a 1 to error. So we'll say right host new teams is installed, and then we will exit 0. Else we'll say right host new teams not found, and that'll exit with a 1. So that's it. That should be our detection. Okay, I just realized this should say filter, not filler. So I added the T there. It'll be right in the GitHub when I post that. All right, so what we're gonna do is let's package this up, and then we're gonna test it first, because I want to keep reinforcing the fact that Sandbox is a great way to test. So we've saved all that. So let's go ahead and let's get our content prep tool. Run as administrator. Specify the setup file. I don't think it matters in this case. Okay, so I am going to take this and run it in a sandbox just to test it. So our install command is going to be winder sysnative Windows PowerShell v1.0 PowerShell exe execution policy bypass install.ps1. Let's try that. Let's see if it put the temp file there yet. Let's see, program, data, Microsoft, new Teams temp. Yep. All right, what's putting it here? So, oh, and look at that. We got the new Teams. Okay, cool. Remember, Sandbox, great way to test Intunewin apps. All right, now that we have all that and we feel really good, let's go ahead and get this going in Intune. All right, so we're gonna go back to Intune and Apps, Windows. We're gonna add our application. Windows app Win32. We're gonna select the package, desktop, new Teams, install. We're gonna have to fill this out ourselves. So we're gonna call this Microsoft Teams New. That's good enough. You can add more if you like. I'm just doing enough so it doesn't look ridiculous. You don't need that. And of course, because we do try to keep it professional here, I did grab the icon. So look at that. We got our new Teams icon. If we put this in the company portal, which we will just to look at. Okay, so this will be winder sysnative. I do this just to make sure we're calling the right PowerShell. v1.0 PowerShell.exe execution policy bypass install.ps1, and we can literally take that and just change this one to uninstall since it's the same thing. Okay. So Windows sysnative Windows PowerShell v1.0 PowerShell.exe execution policy bypass /file. Okay, we're good there. We're gonna go next. Architecture 64 only. We're done with 32-bit. Windows 10. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. So we're gonna manually configure the detection rules. Oh, actually, hold on. Use a custom detection script. So now we're gonna pull our script. Probably didn't have to package that, but it doesn't matter. It's all in the same place. Okay. So run as 32, no. Enforce, no. That's our script. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna push this to our M365 group. M365 devices. And we're also going to make this available to all users. And let's create that. So we should see that soon after it's done uploading. But in the meantime, now we're going to take a look at how to get rid of the old teams. Not the old teams, but the personal teams. So let's look at a remediation. Quick word about remediations. I've stopped calling them proactive remediations, of course. Some folks ask me when to use those versus a PowerShell script just being pushed out. The platform scripts where you just put up a static PowerShell script and push it, you know, they don't always have the best results, and they're also a fire and forget type of thing. So what's nice about the remediation is there's no harm if it checks, especially if your schedule is, you know, once a day, something like that, just to have it checking with all the devices. And it's good because you might find some stragglers, but I think another nice thing is the run on demand. So you can literally go to any device and run any remediation script on demand. which is good. And that's a feature you don't have with the platform script. So in this case, I could have gone either way, but those are the reasons I chose to use the remediation here. All right, so I'm going to go to scripts and remediations, and I'm going to add a remediation here. Create. We're going to call this remove Teams personal. Teams personal. Personal, okay. All right, so of course we have to write a detect and a remediate script, so let's do that. So let's close this, and let's create a new folder. New folder, remove personal teams. Best name I could come up with. And like every other remediation script we've done, there are two scripts. There is a detect.ps1 and a remediate.ps1. Remediate.ps1. So let's go ahead and open this up in code. All right, so for our remediation, the Teams app we're looking for, get AppX package Teams. Now we have to make sure this doesn't conflict with the new one, so we'll talk about that in a second. Error action, silently continue. If the Teams app.name is equal to Microsoft Teams, then what do? We write host built-in Teams app found, and that means we got to get rid of it. So we're going to hit exit 1. That'll trigger the remediation. Else, we're just going to go on our way and say write host built-in Teams app not found. Apps capital there. Doesn't really matter. And that'll have obviously exit 0, meaning everything's cool. Okay, so how do we know this won't get mixed up with the new Teams, right? So that's a valid question. So let's go to the client. We've had more than enough time. New Teams is here. Okay, so if you look at our rule, we're basically looking at the get AppX package for Teams. All right, for all users, and it's basically we're looking for Microsoft Teams. So let's take a look at that. So if I go PowerShell to run it as an admin here, because Morty Smith ain't got the credentials. Okay, so get AppX package. Get AppX package. If it's like Teams, all users. So I see 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you see MS Teams. Those are a little different. Those are found in C program files, Windows apps, Teams, and those are coming from the new app. MS Teams is where that sits. If you look at Microsoft Teams, that's different, because remember what our detection rule was for the new Teams. It was MS Teams. So Microsoft Teams, this is the personal one. So that's how we can identify that, pretty easily. So what we're going to do, now that we know we have we're getting rid of Microsoft Teams, is we're going to remediate that. And our remediation is going to be get AppX package, name Microsoft Teams, all users, remove AppX package. And it's when you also, sometimes removing what's considered built-in bloatware can come back. So we're also going to add the AppX provision package, which is just, we're going to look for the same name, but that's going to make sure it's not going to come back on us. Display name. I've talked about in the past the difference between the two. Kind of doesn't matter that much. The main thing is that you do both of them here. Equals Microsoft Teams. Okay, And then we're going to find that and remove the appx provision package online. I like where object. I know I could do the shorthand, but I don't know. That's what I like. So actually, just to make sure this works correctly, I'm going to put this in a try catch. So I'm going to say try. And we're going to say right host removed personal teams, and then we're going to exit 0. And I am going to put a catch just in case for some reason that doesn't work. I can keep track of the errors. So I'm going to put the error is the exception message. Actually, that'll be message equals exception dot message. This way we can capture the error. And we'll say right host failed to remove personal teams, and we'll write the message out there. Good. And we'll exit 1 to show that it didn't work. Perfect. Now that we got both of those, let's go fix those. Not fix them, let's go upload them. So our detect, so we're going to go back to desktops, remove personal teams, that's our detect. This is our remediate. Run the script using logged on credentials, no. Enforce signature check, no, but we do want to run it in 64-bit PowerShell. I'm going to assign this to, for something like this, actually, I think I'm going to assign it to all devices, because I don't want this on anything. So there we go, remove personal teams, it's active. And we can pick a certain schedule. I'm also going to run it manually once it's ready to go. So let's actually run that manually. So I have my device here, and this is kind of why I wanted to do it. If you go all the way to the right in the ellipsis here, you'll see run remediation. And of course, this is still in preview, but these are all the remediations assigned to your device. So we're going to do remove teams personal, and we're going to run it. So that got triggered to run the remediation. And then what you can do is when you go to remediations down here, you can see the outcome of the ones that have run. So I have some that are running consistently, no issues. This one had issues, but then it occurred. So we'll refresh here and we'll give it some time to sync. Okay, so we can see the run remediation action was complete with no error. So that's good. If I go to remediations, it doesn't show up here, but it does sometimes lag. So we can take a look at the device. Okay, so let's check. I see new teams, but if I search for teams, I don't see any other one like we had before. So good. All right, so we killed the proverbial 2 birds with 1 stone here. We got new teams deployed, which I know a lot of folks asked for when I showed how to deploy Office with Win32. So you can take care of it that way. And now we can also just make sure that personal teams is removed. So we don't want end users being confused, especially as we move to Windows 11 and we're trying to downplay the whole change element. So great, hop in the Discord. If you didn't see, we've hit over 400 members, which is crazy to me. So thank you. Awesome group of folks in there. Come on in, say hi, and we'll be seeing you.